Hi, this is Amanda from AKA Our Fam with another episode of Budget Bride Diaries. So today I'm going to be talking about the theme, budget, and guest list. I guess the first thing that we'll talk about is budget. That is like the first thing that you're going to want to settle on when you start planning your wedding, because obviously you need to know where you need to stay, what kind of parameters you need to put on yourself, or what kind of control you need to have. Obviously, if you don't have, if you have a pretty loose budget, you can, run a little freer, but I need to keep pretty close to between 10 and 15,000. And the crazy thing for us is that since we're paying for it all ourselves, that is actually kind of a high point for us. We have 3 kids, and it's kind of, I stay at home right now, so it's, $10,000 to $15,000 is not the easiest amount of money to come up with. Generally speaking, 10 to 15 is not a lot for a wedding. 2016, it's looking like it's right around $27,000 in my actual area for a wedding. 27,900, so almost 28,000. And closer to Chicago, that's more of looks like around $49,000, which is crazy. So it depends on where you're at, of course. What is your average amount for a wedding? Everything's going to cost different amounts, obviously, depending on where you live and also where you choose to get married. Where your venue is very important, because the closer you get to a major city, the more money you're going to be spending per person. You can opt to do what me and my fiance have done, which is we budgeted every month to put away a certain amount of money towards the wedding fund. So what we've done is we took our total rough estimate of what our wedding is going to cost, divided that by a certain how many months we have, and then that's how much money we have to put away every month. Basically, some things that I am doing to really help my budget, and I will get into the guest list, that actually has helped a bit too. Doing a lot of DIYs, which is pretty much a given with strict budget. You definitely are going to have to do some of the things yourself. I am making my own flowers and my the flowers for my bridesmaids and boutonnieres. I am going to be doing all that myself. Online you can get some wholesale flowers that are pretty inexpensive for bulk. You're going to have to decide on what's the most important to you, and I've said that before. In my first video I was saying make a list and decide what's the most important. I actually did that, and I will share that with you as well. But the most important thing is, you need to really, if you have a budget, stick to it, because you don't want to be in debt. That's one thing that I had to consider, because the venue that I originally wanted, that would have been perfect for my theme. I loved it so much. Actually had very strong sentimental value to me and my fiance as well, because that was one of our first dates, and sadly they just were not in our budget. This is another thing. When you're looking at venues, be very careful, because if you look on their websites, a lot of times they'll tell you how much money it costs for the ceremony. They'll tell you how much money it costs for the venue, like if you want to do the ceremony for the venue, just like the room, and they'll tell you how much it costs per plate. Or if you're doing a buffet, I'll tell you that. But sometimes they don't tell you there is a minimum drink and beverage amount that you have to reach. So the one that we wanted, their minimum was 10,000, and with our budget being between 10 and 15, there's no way that we could have our room be, almost the whole entire budget, 2/3 of the budget. They won't take you unless you hit that. So that is something that you should definitely ask them, because they don't have it always on their website. Actually, several of the venues that I looked at did not list their minimum food and drink numbers on there. So definitely ask for that, because that can pretty much change everything for you if you have a strict budget. That was pretty sad, but because for when I first got engaged, for the first several months, that's where I thought that we'd be getting married. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm okay with it, because I know that it'll be pretty no matter where we get married. So the other thing I want to talk about is the guest list. Now, we're having a very small wedding, and I've said it before, 60 people. We will not go over 60, so we're at 57 right now, and we are not planning to go over 60. That includes our wedding party, our kids, everybody, and me and my fiance, of course. So, that has been a little bit challenging. The first things we did, we sat down, I wrote down a list of everybody that we'd want to come, and then we had to think about, now let's think about the people that have actually been present or supportive, or you know, just some people that we've really have in contact with, or that we really feel like we personally need to be at our wedding. And we had to keep those people on, and some of the people that we were just kind of like, oh, it'd be nice to send them an invitation, we had to take them off, which, you know, can be kind of uncomfortable. But realistically, if you haven't, you know, talked to them in a while, or if they're not super involved in your relationship or your life, you know, it's not as bad as it seems. I mean, I'm just telling myself that now, but really, you know how they say when you're cleaning out your closet, if you haven't worn it in a year, get rid of it? It's kind of the same concept. I know that sounds so horrible, but if you haven't talked to them in the last year, and they're not like really close friends or family, yeah, you probably can do with getting them off your list. If you need to save the money, you know, in your budget, then I would say start by trimming back your guest list. So, theme. Okay, so I know this is kind of a weird bunch of things to have together, but my theme I wanted to put with the budget and the guest list because themes can actually really cost you a lot of money. Depending on what kind of theme you're having, you will have to get things that kind of coordinate with your theme and everything like that. And that can start to add up really quickly, because for us, we're having a Great Gatsby / Roaring Twenties wedding. Keeping that in mind, I went crazy looking at all these things and pinning these things that I would love to have, and that can get out of hand really quickly and be very expensive. So I've had to rein myself in and be like, okay, what is actually the most important that you'll get the sense that it's 1920s vintage feel Gatsby without, you know, breaking the bank, basically, because that specific feel is very opulent and very glamorous and glitzy and things like that. So that could get, you know, really expensive. And I've actually watched a couple of videos on YouTube that had Gatsby weddings, and I'm like, oh my gosh, some of the stuff I'm like drooling. I'm like, oh, I want it so bad. But you have to really think, what can I get away with so you can feel that you know, without coming across like a production, like it's a play or something. So that was, it's a very fine line. You know, you want to get your theme across and you want to have a certain feeling. I mean, of course you want your guests to feel to see your vision, but you really have to realize that this is your vision and your guests may not pick up exactly what you're trying to put out there. But as long as you feel comfortable and you're happy, you and your fiance, then don't worry about it, you know. I did get a lot of things used. I'm doing a lot of DIYs on that, and hopefully that'll help keep the budget down. So I want to talk about my wedding budget values ratings, is what I'm calling it. So basically what that is I'm rating different aspects of my wedding. That way I know where we need to put our money and what's the most important to us, where we feel like they fit in, and the categories will help you break down, okay, is this acceptable to spend this much money for this, because considering where we put it on our ratings list. So I broke it down. If it's number 1 is a high budget value, number 2 is immediate budget value, number 3 is low, and number 4 is very low. So venue with the catering package and the cake, the photography, and the DJ are our 3 number 1s, and that is the high budget value. That is where we're spending the most of our money. The venue see, we're doing a package, which is another good way to save money. We decided to get married on a Friday instead of a Saturday. That saved us $2,000. Our venue actually includes the cake, and we're having our ceremony at the same place, and so all of that, because it's kind of like a package deal, really helps to work on the budget. I really want to have someone come record our wedding. He does not want that to happen because he thinks it is, you know, it is definitely expensive. It's at that, the cheapest I can find right now is around $1,000. So, and that's I think a sale. So that part's kind of sucky because we really don't have the budget for the videography, but I really want it, and I am going to be taking my own footage and I will make my own video. But some of the things I just won't be able to get myself, and I'm going to be handing my camera off to my brother and sister during the whole day, and hopefully they can get some footage as well, but I don't know how much I'll be able to get. So it might literally just be a wedding vlog instead of like a professional wedding video, which I would put videography as a 1 or a 2, but my fiance is not feeling the whole videography thing, so most likely we probably won't be having one unless I can find a really good deal. Now, I did find an alternative to videography, which is an app that you can download, and your friends and family can take video with their cell phones, and then you can like load it and edit it in there. I may do that. I think it's like $100 if you don't use their cameras. It's called Wedding Mix, so I have to look more into that. That is a possibility. And the number twos we have the rehearsal dinner, the dress and accessories, the minister hair and makeup for me, and the wedding weekend lodging accommodations. Those are all number two, so that's our next set of like medium budget value items. Number three, wedding bands, the gifts, so our maid of honor gifts, groomsmen, mothers gifts, and out of town bags, which we are making because we have a lot of people from his side that are coming from out of town. Those are all threes, which is low budget value. The groom's attire, you can probably get, you know, a tux for not super expensive, and then the decor, those are all the low budget. And then our number fours are invites, all of our paper products, flowers, and the guest favors. So those are the things that we are spending the least on. I already did my invitations video. If you haven't checked that out, I got my invitations from Vistaprint, and even though they're not, like I said in the video, they're not like the most fancy, they work really well for our budget, and they were only $100. So that, and then I will be making my own favors, and I will have a video about that later on. So as you can see, you know, everybody's wedding is going to be different. Everybody's priorities are going to be different. So you really need to sit down and just decide where your priorities lay. That way you kind of have an idea. It's almost like just an outline, so you can kind of keep in mind what is the most important to you and where you want to spend the most money. Sit down, create a budget. I would say create a budget value ratings list, and be careful with your theme, because your theme can drain your budget very quickly. I've had to really be careful about that, and it's really hard. And don't be afraid to do some DIY. But anyway, thank you for joining me today with another episode of Budget Bride Diaries. I hope you liked it. This isn't my funnest video that I've done so far, but you know, every aspect of planning a wedding is not going to be fun. Sadly, the serious stuff like the budget and stuff like that, that is not the funnest stuff that you have to deal with at the wedding. Trust me, that is probably the least favorite, because no one really wants to stick to a budget. But you have to, it's for your own good. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully you will join me again next time for Budget Bride Diaries. So take care, and don't let this process stress you out, guys. It's once in a lifetime, hopefully. Have fun. This is your wedding. Enjoy the process as much as you enjoy the day, because it goes so fast. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Bye. Just kidding, that's dumb. Okay, bye. Bye-bye.